game ends. First thing, Todd Bowles, hot seat. Gotta be. This is all merit-based, and I preface these comments by saying every year we see it. 6, 7, 8 coaches, didn't mean that, get fired. I added the 8. 6, 7, 8 coaches get fired. 2 of them have already been fired. We're waiting for the axe to fall for Jonathan Gannon. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened yet. The Cardinals coach in his 3rd year, they got embarrassed at home last week, 45-17. They've lost 10 of 11 since starting 2-0. I think it's going to come for him. This is the way it works in professional football. If you aren't getting it done, you are done. We spent a lot of time talking about Mike Tomlin last week. If John Harbaugh and the Ravens don't make the playoffs, is it going to be a time for change in Baltimore? This is the way it goes. This isn't we're trying to upend someone's life. This is we know how this works, and we're trying to get ahead of what's coming. This is part of our obligation to get you trying to upend someone's life. This is we know how this works, and we're trying to get ahead of what's coming. This is part of our obligation to get you ready for it so you don't say, oh, damn, when it happens. And there's no reason to be surprised when it happens because it happens. So as I'm hunting and pecking my way through the item, the TNF Nightcap show begins. And what do I hear but fire Bowles, fire Bowles, fire Bowles, coming from a cluster of fans who have hung around to make sure their displeasure was heard by the Amazon Prime Video microphones and distributed to whoever was watching the game at that point. And I'm sorry I never watched the post-game show, but I did last night because I thought this could get interesting. And it got interesting right out of the gates. So Todd Bowles, look, this is his 4th year. He's won the division every season, Michael. But think of how he got that job. That was the Bruce Arians all of a sudden walking away, handing it to Bowles. They didn't get to do a search. They didn't get to hire who they would have wanted to hire. It was basically between Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich at the time. And what he did, 22, 23, 24, that doesn't matter. The moment it goes sideways is the moment they're going to go in a different direction, especially because they have a history of firing coaches when you don't expect them to fire coaches. They fired Tony Dungy, for crying out loud. I know they won the Super Bowl the next year with John Gruden, but they fired Tony Dungy. Then they fired John Gruden. Then they fired Raheem Morris. Then they fired Greg Schiano. Then they fired Lovie Smith so they could hire Dirk Cutter, and then they fired Dirk Cutter. The only guy they technically didn't fire was Bruce Arians, but I think he got pushed. And I know he doesn't like that because, whenever we come up with our version, Tom Brady unretired, somebody said, watch what happens next. And it's one of those that I regret not putting that out there. Watch what happens next. Arians is going to be out. And 2-3 weeks later, Arians was out. So I think he got a nudge. And that's all the prologue to where we are now. This is an organization that is not bashful about firing a coach. And after last night, for as happy as Arthur Blank is, remember when they had the Super Bowl year, he was doing the Rodney Dangerfield dance from Caddyshack, the Al Shervick dance at the end of games and down on the sidelines. I don't think he was doing it on purpose, but it sure looks like it. If you are confused by what I'm saying, you can Google it. Arthur Blank dancing, Rodney Dangerfield Caddyshack dancing. Looks a lot similar. For as happy as he was and possibly dancing like that last night, the Glazers had to be pissed. All that money that was spent to bring all those folks back to Tampa for the creamsicle night. This was we're up 28-14. It's over. It's over. The coat and the hat are off. We can sit down on the couch and relax, unbutton the collar, have a drink, and wait for dinner. That's where they were, right? And then, boom, it blows up in their faces. They have got to be livid after last night. And all that goes into the bucket, Michael, of why Todd Bowles is now on the hot seat.